degrees in Naples. But anyway, I'm so happy to be here because yes, when Cindy and I met, it was a law of attraction. I make it a long story, but I'll make it a short story. I travel a lot, and I have all these little things I do to tweak my travel experience. And one of them is to always be the last person on the airplane, so I can just pick my seat. Well, this day I was flying to Chicago, and Cindy was too, from Fort Myers. And there was just something inside of me. I just said, you know what? I'm wearing a mask. We're all like following rules. I'm just going to follow the rule. I'm just going to sit in my seat. And it was a middle seat. And I'm so glad I did, because I sat next to Cindy, and she had the window seat, and we sat next to each other. And she had this, you know how you get in your seat and you're getting your earbuds and you're ready to just be to yourself. Well, I just glance at her, and she has this book. It was something like The Power of, Cindy, do you remember the name of the book? It was like The Power of Purpose or something.
Right. Yeah. The 90-day game.
Yeah. 90 Day. And so of course I'm like, oh my gosh, that looks like a great book. And before we even took off, we started talking, and we talked the whole 3-hour flight, of course. And I feel sorry for all the people sitting around us, because we were just blah, blah, blah. But we found out that we have, of course we did, we have similar ideas about wanting to share our passion and create retreats and all kinds of stuff. So, of course, I had Cindy as a guest on my podcast, and I'm so glad that Cindy and Judy both were on my podcast. And then we have this, and I love sharing this message about gratitude. It really has completely changed my life. And when someone reads your little thing about who you are, obviously there's so much more than that. And that's really, I did create a little PowerPoint. Should I go ahead and share it now? Let's see, because it kind of will keep me on task too. Let's see. Oh, it says host disabled attendee screen sharing. Can you re-able that, please, Cindy? So yeah, I am a mom of 4 kids, and I am a business development. I am a coach. I mean, you start thinking about all these things that you are, right? And that's probably one of the first things. I hope you all have like a notebook or a journal or paper or something, but it still says disabled. Let me try it again. I don't know, it still says disabled. So, you start thinking about, who am I? And that's a lifelong question that you're going to ask yourself. But if you really start thinking about who you are, and I want you to do that, because it starts there with, who am I? I'm a mom, I'm all that stuff she read. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I'm a podcaster now, I'm a survivor. I've had 2 near-death experiences. In 2009, I was at the height of my career. I was a top leader in a network marketing company called Monavie. I don't know if anybody's heard of that. They went bankrupt in 2012, but I was one of the top leaders in the company the first time I'd ever done network marketing. And I made $1 million one year. I made $700,000 another year. I mean, I was making millions of dollars, having a blast, traveling the world, speaking on stages of 10,000 people. And I walk into a meeting and I get this pain across my forehead. It was just this terrible shooting pain across my forehead. And there happened to be a bunch of doctors in the room. I mean, and it was, when they say it's like a pain that you've never experienced, it was a hemorrhage in my brain that was happening. It's true, it was. And I just couldn't function. And luckily we were near a hospital, and they took me to the hospital, and they were able to see what was going on. It was just a vein in my brain that just started bleeding. It wasn't an aneurysm or anything like that. It was, come to find out, like a birth defect. I just had this weak vein in my brain. And there was nothing they could do except, pray and hope, and it stopped bleeding. And I woke up 2 weeks later from they put you in like a drug-induced coma so the fluid can all drain, and everybody was waiting to see, what kind of brain damage I had, basically. I was okay. The first thing I said was, "Where's my phone?" Like, it was ridiculous. It was like I went to sleep, and 2 weeks later I woke up like, "Where's my phone? I need to get to work," which is ridiculous. But that experience, of course, I mean, completely changed my life. And that was in 2009. And that's when I went on this, I had always been on a personal development journey, but this time it almost became more of like a spiritual journey of, why am I here? Who am I? Why am I here? Obviously for a purpose. And I kind of feel like every morning we should wake up and ask ourselves that question. Like, thank God I woke up this morning and, why am I here? And how can I make this the best day ever? And so that's kind of like my message. And it came from that. And a lot of things changed in my life from there. And I've, in these last 10 years, I've done a lot of different things. And then wouldn't you know it, 10 years later, 2019, a year ago, really right now, I was in a wheelchair. I had another near-death experience. A man ran a stop sign and hit me, and it was a terrible crash. He died in the crash, and I had a lot of injuries, and I'm completely recovered now, thankfully. But one of the questions I asked this time was, how did I do this? How did I attract, because I'm a teacher of the law of attraction. I'm in gratitude every single day. I feel like I'm the happiest person in the world. I'm so thankful, to be alive. And people tell me, you look at the world through rose-colored glasses, it's ridiculous and you make me mad. I get that. And here I am attracting, and that's where I went. Like, why did this happen to me? Right. And I remember calling a really good friend of mine who's also like, he's an energy healer. He was one of the first people I called when I was in the hospital. And I said that, I'm like, Chuck, I don't understand. This is ridiculous. What, why is happening to me? And he laughed. He started laughing at me. I'm in the hospital. I have messed up knee, L2, L3 fractures, broke my wrist, pain in my neck. And he's laughing. He said, Shelly, I can't wait to talk to you in a week as you start discovering all the gifts that you are receiving from this. And he was right. A week later, I was looking at incredible things that happened in my life. And that's a whole other podcast or story that we can tell. But I share all of that with you because, life is happening. Let me see if I can share my screen now. Of course, it's still disabled. That's all right. That's okay. I got up extra early to create one. I guess there's no way of overwriting that, huh? I wonder if I showed it. You are a host now. All right. Oh, looky there. Okay. So I'm going to go here and share. And let's see. I guess, does that look okay? Can you all see it? Should I hit play? It's so quiet. All right. So there you go. That's what I want to start with is, hi, I'm Shelly. And those are some of the things I am. But this is what I want you to ask yourself. Who am I? And, like I said, it's a deep question, but through this process of gratitude, and we're going to get to that, is, who are you? And you'll have a list. And I want you to just take that piece of paper right now and literally just scribble it down. I have a scribble sheet, like I just scribbled real quick, who am I? I'm a woman, I'm a mom, I'm a friend, I'm an author and speaker, blah, blah, blah. Write all that down. And then just kind of look at it. And then dive down a little bit deeper, right? Who do you want to be, right? Who that person, that woman, that mom, that author, that speaker, who does she really want to be? And what's my purpose? These were the questions I had to ask myself. Why was I still alive, right? And we're all alive today on this beautiful Saturday morning. What is my purpose? Who am I here to help? How can I help? How can I heal myself and participate in the healing of others? And, basically, how can I serve? And, you can't answer all those questions this morning really quickly on a quick sheet of paper. But once you start diving really deep into that, it really allows you to, be open and expand, why you're here. And you don't necessarily have to have a near-death experience to have those wake-up calls, right? Let's see here. So manifest your bliss. When I got really down to who I am, I realized that I am this spiritual being that's living this physical experience. And if I'm coming as a spiritual being, it's all about love and it's all about bliss. And this life is about that. It's about us on this journey of just truly living our bliss and, being happy. Are we happy go lucky all the time? No, that's not what it is. But can you still have that feeling of satisfaction and blissfulness and happy even through a down time? Even when you're in that hospital bed thinking, oh, feeling sorry for yourself. It's interesting because I had dinner Tuesday night with a really good friend of mine. We've been friends for 15 years or more. And we hadn't seen a lot of each other since COVID had hit, and she's busy. She's a chiropractor. She opened up another practice and what have you. And we sit across the table from each other and we're talking. And obviously she knows who I am and what I'm talking about and what I believe and how I am. And she said, I started listening to your podcast and I'm just going to be honest with you because this might help you, grow. And I'm like, yeah, I'd love to hear that. She said, for people like me, and she's talking about herself, who go through bouts of depression and aren't always up and bubbly, you kind of get on my nerves a little bit. And I said, okay, all right, I appreciate that. And I thought, what? I can't go down there to help bring her up, right? I can't get down to be complaining and being angry. And, she started talking about how her marriage is falling apart and her kids, smoking marijuana and, the business is struggling. And, as she was talking all about that. And I said to her, I'm telling you, the best thing that you can do, and you don't have to listen to mine, but do my 30-day gratitude challenge. I think you'll see a difference in your life. And she texted me yesterday and said it totally did make a difference. And she saw a little bit of a difference. And that's what I want to share with you right now. It's like, if you're down, and there's so many people down right now, it's tough. I'm in Naples and it's a little different here because people be outside and we don't have a mask mandate and all that. But I'm hearing from people from up north coming here, and it's hard. It's hard right now out there. So you can't expect people to go from depressed and down here all the way to happy. But through this process of gratitude, you can just a little bit at a time, tiny little step at a time, you can go from depressed to maybe angry. And then you can go from angry to, mad or, I'm just saying that there's a way through gratitude that you can take little steps at a time to get you to this place that we call bliss. So as you're trying to figure out who you are, I almost always, when I'm coaching someone, is I have them really get real about what their core values are. If you start with those core values, like what you would fight for, what you believe in, what you would die for, right? Then you start get to know more and more about who you really are. And then it's just easier to go on that path of oh, I wonder how I can pull this up now. I have, and when I'll encourage all of you to sign up, but I have this great little exercise on determining your core values. And, I redid it. And I do it every year. I redo my core values every year and they change. And I've just recently, just this year, my youngest daughter, who's 16, it's a long story, but my kids have always lived with me, and I've been divorced now for 6 years, but great partnership with my ex-husband and all that, and we kind of co-parent and all that. Well, my house sold, and I was trying to figure out what to do, and she's the only one at home because the boys are all at college or grown up. And she's like, Mom, you know what? I think I want to go live with Dad for a while. I've never really lived with him. And, I'd like to try it. And I'm like, are you sure? And she said, yeah. I said, okay. So for the first time in 25 years, I'm like kind of free. I don't have kids at home. I can do whatever I want. So Cindy knows the story, but I literally in July put everything I own into a storage unit and packed up my car, and I drove to the mountains in North Carolina, and I lived there for a month. I hiked every day. I meditated. I got so close to nature, and I just really, really found out who I really am and what I really, really want. And it's been amazing. I'm kind of still doing that. I'm just renting a room now from one of my girlfriends, but I found out that my number one core value is freedom. Like that is what I think has always driven me. And it was like, oh my gosh, that really is. It's always been on the list. Passions on there too, purpose. But if you can narrow it down, your 3 top core values, like who you really, really are and what really drives you, then that makes life a lot easier too, because all the decisions that you're going to make are going to be based on like your values and what's really, really important to you. So again, I'll have you sign up for my notifications, and I'll send you the core value sheet so you can get really clear on your values. So once you know your values, once you know who you are, now you kind of have to think about what do you want? And this is the fun part. If you could really just dream and about anything at all that would make you happy and bring you bliss, and what do you want? And these are the 5 areas that are probably most important to people, like physically, and that can be like your physical well-being, your fitness level, your weight, but also like physical items in the world. What kind of car do you want? What kind of house do you want? What kind of anything that you want? How do you want to dress? How are you going to look? How you want to act? Physically, what do you want? Emotionally, what are some of the feelings that are important to you? Relationally, I don't even know if that's a word. I don't think spell check changed it, but in relationships, what's important to you? What kind of relationships do you want to have with your kids, with your friends, with your business associates, in romance and love? And, write all this down. And I'm a big believer in writing things down in your own handwriting. All of my notes are in my own handwriting. I really do believe that there is, it's like a chemical reaction when you're physically writing down something, because you're like stimulating all of your senses. So write down your relationships, financially, what are your financial goals and your money? And again, I'll share mine because I used to write down numbers. I was always like a big goal setter, and I had these big dreams, and I want to sell 1 million cinchets. That's my little invention. And suddenly in August, when I was on my everyday hiking, and I think I was on the 4-hour, I went on this 4-hour hike, and I had to and this is going to be TMI, but I had to pee in the woods twice. That's how long I was on the hike. But during that time, I was like, I have to believe that, my life has been like everything always works out for me, which is my life motto. I'm just going to say I just want all the money I can spend anytime, all the time. And that has been such a piece of freedom for me. Like, it's not about like a number or something specific. I just want all the money I can spend. So you all can use that one too if you want to. It's a great one. And then of course, spiritually, what do you want out of your life for that? And now you're starting to become really clear. And I put my book up there. So in 2009, when I had the hemorrhage and I got home, I looked at all my journals. And if you keep a journal, I hope that you all do. I think journaling is so powerful. I've always had a journal since I remember being a little kid and getting the little diary, Dear Diary. But keep a journal. And I started looking back through all my journals, and I started discovering all these things that I had wanted out of life or had written down over the years, and how many of them had manifested, had come true. And then there was always this one that said, write a book, be an author, and I'm like, all right. And I just knew, and it was just like, and I truly believe everybody has a book inside of them, and that story to like publish for the world to learn from you. And I knew I had to write this book. So I took about 9 months and I wrote the book, and it's 365 pages. So it's 1 page a day. So it's like every day you read, it's a little bit of inspiration, information, and then an action step. So it's a lot about kind of like what we're talking about today that I'm saying, that it kind of takes you through a week at a time, and it builds on itself. So the first week is about dreaming, and the second week is about your purpose. And so anyway, that's my book. And just get clear on what you want. You want to be an author? Write it down and have fun with it, because it is about fun. And a lot of people are afraid, and of course you're not already there because there's something holding you back, but are afraid to write it down, because if you write it down, what if it doesn't come true, or all of that? Don't be afraid. Just write it all down. It's a lot of fun. So then once you kind of are clear about what you want, then you kind of need to know like where you are right now. And this is the really hard part, because you have to really take stock. You have to really get real, and only you are doing this, but where are you right now? And you have to know where you are, and you know where you're going, right? You know what you want, and you know where you are. So in order to create that map, to get there, and also to make the decision on maybe how fast you want to get there. I'm sure all of you have heard the whole be, do, have, that you need to become the person to do what you need to do to have what you want to have. And a lot of people have it. I'm going to say probably 97% of the population has it messed up. They think, if I only have this thing, then I'll be able to do what I want to do to become the person I want. But it's the other way around. You need to become the person to do what you need to do to have what you need to have. And that's what this process is all about. So of course I brought the core values up, but know where you are, know where you're going, and be open to the possibilities of how you can get there, because it really is a journey, but it's also the destination too. I mean, it's both that's going to bring that bliss into your life. And of course, gratitude makes it all happen. And that's what this is all about today. But first, before we go into gratitude, I'm going to talk a little bit about the law of attraction. And this is powerful. And I remember the first time, that I really learned about the law of attraction was a long, long, long time ago, but I didn't really understand it. And now it's so funny because, my kids are 16, 18, 21, and 24, and they've heard nothing about the law of attraction their whole life, right? And I can see how, it's so powerful if you get this and you share this with your children. The very first personal development book that I read was when I was 19 years old, and my grandfather had passed away, and I moved to Naples from Indiana when I was 18. I graduated high school. 2 days later, I got in my little green Chevette and drove to Naples, where one set of grandparents lived, and I loved it. But then a year later, my other grandfather in Indiana passed away. So I flew home, and it was the first funeral I'd ever been to. It was really sad. And I'm on the flight back to Naples with a big decision to make. And I was taking classes at a local community college. I was working like 3 jobs, and I had been exposed to an opportunity. I was dating this guy who was a golf professional, and he had invited me to this big event in Orlando that was this huge golf show, and it was incredible. I walked into that place and it was like the energy was amazing. Have you ever just like known like this is something that you got to be a part of? I knew that, but I didn't know what I was going to do because the only thing I could do was be a sales rep, which was straight on commission, and I didn't know what to do. I had been offered the opportunity with Macy's to be in their training program to make something like, back then it was like $22,000 a year, and you get $1,000 a year raise. And I'm like, boy, that's not what I want. So I'm on the plane. I said, once again, there's a lot that happens on airplanes because I sat next to this older gentleman, and we were just talking, and I shared with him, my dilemma. What should I do? I should probably stay in college, shouldn't I? Should I do this training? But I have this really cool thing. He didn't tell me what to do, but he handed me a book that he had in his briefcase. And the book was Og Mandino's The Greatest Salesman in the World. And if you haven't read it, get it. It's like short. It's a short book. But basically, the lesson from that book was, follow your passion, don't give up, and persevere, and everything always works out for you, basically. So guess what I did? I went into the sales rep position. I started that, and it was incredible. It's when you look back on your life and you see all the little breadcrumbs, right, that kind of like connected and led you to where you are now. It's amazing. So I share that because I see it in my kids now that, what they seem to like when they were little kids, I can see how it's like showing up now. Maybe not exactly how they thought. Like my oldest son thought he wanted to be a professional football player, right? That was his dream. And he was good, but he by the time we got to high school, it was pretty clear that he wasn't going to be a professional football player. Now, I kind of had an idea that wasn't going to happen, but I never squashed his dreams. I just kept encouraging him. Practice, work hard, do what you need to do. Well, guess what? He went to college, not playing football, but to get a sports management degree. And now he wants to get into coaching, and he's volunteering here locally. And, I can see it. So this stuff is real. And how the law of attraction works, and again, that's a whole other seminar, is, everything starts with a thought. So it starts with your thinking. So everything from, this pen, somebody had to think about, maybe we could, put ink in something to make it right. It started with a thought. And that's true about everything. And once you have that one thought, then that vibration of that thought sends out into the universe. And then more things show up to support that thought. That's the simple way of maybe explaining it. It's like you talk about vibration, whatever, like attracts like. Birds of a feather flock together. The better it gets, the better it gets. It's kind of like that. So if it starts with a thought and it's sending out, and then evidence of that thought keeps showing up. And so that's why this is so powerful, to know who you are, what you want, because that's how you're going to manifest everything that you want in your life. So everything begins with a thought. So be careful about your thoughts. And this is probably, obviously, I'm sure all of you have heard this, but my all-time favorite quote is, beware of your thoughts because they become your words. Beware of your words because they become your actions. Beware of your actions, they become your habits. Beware of your habits, they become your character. And beware of your character because it will become your destiny. And so your thoughts equal your destiny, if you look at it that way. So, if that's true, which it is, then you get to create your own reality. You are creating your life. Wherever you are right now you created it, and accept that, even if it's not good. If it's not good right now and it's hard right now, you created that. I know it's hard to believe because there's COVID and there's the government and there's the president. No. If you can take ownership of the good things and the bad things that happen in your life, and you know that you create it through your thoughts, then you can make anything happen. And again, gratitude will play a big role in that. So your feelings are your indicator. And I say that because you have a thought, all right? And we have lots and lots of thoughts all day long, right? We can't monitor our thoughts. But the best way I like to explain about how this kind of works, the law of attraction, if you don't know, is you've decided that you're going to buy a new car. And you've kind of started looking at cars, and you find a car that you kind of like, and you start thinking about the car. And next thing you know, you walk out and you're driving down the road, or you're there, that car is everywhere. Like, it's almost like all of a sudden, because you wanted the car, you see the car everywhere. Okay. That's the law of attraction working in your life. You are seeing more and more evidence of what you are thinking the most about. So why not think the most about your dreams and what you want in your life, so that more and more evidence of all of that will begin showing up. So, feelings. If you have a thought and you start seeing evidence of that and it doesn't feel good, right? It just doesn't feel right. You don't feel happy about that. Then you're not in alignment. Oh, I forgot one thing. When you have that thought and you have a desire and you want something, your inner guidance, your inner being, God, source, whatever you want to call it, says it's yours. It's yours immediately. If you want it, you got it. And that source is putting everything in place for you to have whatever it is that you desire. Now, the problem is with the law of attraction, because the law of attraction can be your friend, but it also sometimes appears to not be working for you, right? I mean, come on, we all, right? I said I wanted all the money I can spend, or there's been times where I said I want $2 million in my bank account by the end of the year, and it's not there. Why is that, right? If I already have it, I said I wanted it, I have a desire for it, and it's not there, why? Oops, hold on. Beliefs. You might have a desire that you want something, but you also at the same time have a belief that you're not worthy, or you don't deserve it, or it's not going to happen. So there's all of that there too. So when you're feeling, you have a desire, and I just noticed I have a low battery sign. You have a desire for something and you want it and you're not getting it. Or you are saying stuff like, good things don't ever happen to me, or why isn't it happening? Why don't I even have enough money in my bank account? You are at odds with your inner being. Your inner guidance is telling you, I've got it. It's right here. You just have to have your desire and your belief at the same level. And again, we'll do another one on the law of attraction completely. But in order to get to that belief or that feeling that, and by the way, a belief is just a thought that you've continued to think until you believe it's true. It doesn't mean it's true. It's just, that's your belief, right? Because what is true? We all have different beliefs. So in order to get the feeling, so to feel good about something, because that's really what, remember, I truly believe that it's all about living in our bliss. And if you're not living in your bliss, then you are at odds with your inner guidance saying, I have it here. It's here for you. Whatever it is that you want, it's here. And you're down here saying, but I don't think I'm worthy of that. I don't think I can get that. I don't believe I can have it. It's too hard. It's the president is bad, whatever, right? It doesn't feel good. You're at odds with that vibration that it's there. So you need to raise that vibration to be happy and satisfied with everything that you have in order to start manifesting everything you desire. So pay attention to your feelings. We need to master happy. And that's really what it's all about. If you can get to a place where you are truly happy and satisfied with or without this item. Cindy, did you have a question? Oh, okay. I thought I heard something. So that's the thing, is that if you can just be happy and just satisfied, and again, in gratitude, well, gratitude is the fastest way to get you to where you want to go. And that's why I created this gratitude challenge that I have. And I've done it several times. And now that I have my podcast, it's been an amazing way to kind of to get it going and get it out there, because I truly believe that if you are grateful, you can't be sad at the same time. You know, you can't be thankful for something and not believe it. So let's use the money thing again. You can step by step gradually get to that vibration that of having unlimited resources, or all the money in the bank that I can spend, right? That's mine. And, you know, I can look at the reality of it, and maybe right now may not be true. I don't know. Oh, what's going on there? I have a low battery. Is that gonna, let me see. I'm gonna, 2%. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna go get a plug real quick. Okay, can I have a pause? And maybe if people have questions, they can start asking their questions, Cindy, and you can write them down. I'm just gonna go run and get a plug real quick. I have this.
Okay, yeah, she's gonna get a plug. And thank you, Debbie had put in the chat the questions, so I can read those real quick. So write these down. Who am I? Who do I want to be? What is my purpose? How can I help, and how can I serve? And then this will obviously help you with gratitude, because when we're in alignment with who we are, gratitude is much more effective than pretending, you know, something is something that you're grateful for when you're not.
I sacrificed the light for the electricity. Sorry about that, everybody. Anyway, so is it making sense right now? Like, are y'all liking this? Like what I'm sharing? Can we have thumbs up? Yays, I don't know. It's so odd that it's so quiet and I can only see a couple of you. Anyway, that would have been terrible if I would have ran out of electricity. So anyway, I actually ended my PowerPoint there at gratitude, because you're going to hear plenty of gratitude from me if you decide to come along with me on my podcast and join it. But it's really simple. Gratitude is the easiest way to lift your spirits. So through my gratitude challenge, I just go through 30 days of every day, just a little different activity that you can do. Should I stop sharing my screen? Oh no, you know what I wanted to show you was a couple other things. I'm all flustered now. All right. I wanted to go to my website. My website is shellyaristizabal.com. And I've had this website forever and I just started updating it. But you can go here, can't see it, and just go there and scroll down. And just, if you put your first and last name and your email in there, then I'll send you the core value sheet. And then I'll, if you'd like to do the 30-day challenge, it's starting today. We're going to restart it today. We can all do it together. So if you go there, put your first, last name and your email, then I'll add you that. And every day for 30 days, you'll get an email from me. And in the email is an activity to do that day. And also the podcast that's related to that, that day. And, you know, I guarantee probably by the 4th day, you're going to start seeing changes in your life. You know, you'll just start feeling more happiness and bliss. And, you know, it's not that simple. I mean, it's not that difficult. So why does gratitude work, right? Why do you think being grateful, even for the tough things in your life? Now I got my notes under here. Does anybody have any questions? I feel like you need to pause for a second. Does anybody have a question? You want to unmute and ask me a question of what we covered so far? No? No questions? I'm that good that there's no questions. Joking. So gratitude is, an appreciation is a feel-good thought. And in order to raise that vibration, how are we doing on time? You have to, you know, get to a better feeling thought. How long do we have to go, Cindy?
Until about 10:45, and then or whatever works for you.
Okay, good. Then we got plenty of time. I was rushed here. I thought it was an hour. Okay, so basically, it's a practice. It's if you can get in the habit of every single day, you know, living in gratitude, then you will. So, for example, if you look at your list of desires of the things that you wrote down on that sheet of paper of the things that you want, and if it's maybe a better relationship with your daughter, and that's one of the things that you have a desire for that, but maybe your belief is not there because of the reality of you're constantly at odds with your 16-year-old daughter. And I went through this. It's a real life example. When my daughter was about 13, 14 years old, we just struggled. And it's funny because I had these 3 boys and I had this sweet little girl, and she was so sweet all the time. And people used to say, oh, just wait until she's a teenager and she's going to become somebody you won't even recognize. I'm like, no, not Emma. My Emma, she's so sweet. And she's different. She's not like the other girls. And sure enough, I mean, it happened, you know, like, I don't know what it is about mothers and daughters. So I had this incredible desire that I wanted to have this better relationship with my daughter. And we were struggling. So what I decided to do was just to make a list of everything that I'm grateful for her and all the positive aspects of my daughter. And, you know, even remembering how she was when she was sweet. And I would just, every morning, you know, and I do this every single morning. I mean, I really, really do what I teach. I do list 5 things I'm most grateful for every single morning and why I'm grateful for them. But she was at the top of my list every single day. And then I started trying to visualize her and our relationship, how I wanted it to be instead of how it was. And it was crazy. It was at a peak when I had that car accident a year ago because it put so much pressure on her because I was in bed and I couldn't get out and I needed her help. I mean, like I had friends coming and going, and she resented it. I mean, it was like so hard. And then finally, I had to tell her, you know, like, honey, I see us being best friends someday. And I see how incredible you are. And I would just, And it was like a light switch went off. Now, it seemed like a light switch because I'd been doing it for 2 years, right? Living in the gratitude and thinking positive and being thankful for all the positive. But it did, it completely turned around. So this process works of every single day being thankful for what you want on your list, even though you don't already have it. And so if you want on your list a better relationship with your daughter, I didn't have it, but that's what I wanted. And I was thankful for it because I knew that I was going to have it. And I knew that eventually it would come. Thankful for the bank account that has unlimited money in it. And so I have to be thankful right now for the money that I do have. And why am I thankful for this money? Because it allows me to have the things that I need to live my life. My health, right? I mean, I'm in a wheelchair for 8 weeks, I was not allowed to put any pressure on my knee whatsoever. And I'm laying in that bed. Again, why is that happening to me? Whatever. But I just started seeing myself recovering and then maybe sharing my story and then maybe hiking in the mountains for a month, right? I mean, I saw that and I would literally write down, I am thankful that I am able to walk and do all the things I want to do. I'm in excellent health. I'm fit. I'm healthy, So if you start being thankful for what you have and then thankful for what you are desiring, you start raising that vibration to the level of where it is, and I always use the visual of, if I'm down here, I want this and it's up here. And I know that my inner guidance, my inner being says I have it, but I'm down here, and that gratitude, I'm thankful for it. I do know what it's going to feel like, right? Our feelings are our indicator. What's it going to feel like when I have that amazing relationship with my daughter? What am I going to feel like when I'm out of this wheelchair? And you start raising. I'm so thankful that today I had physical therapy and I feel better, and it raises it. You can just feel yourself with the gratitude of what you have right now, and then you're thankful for how you're going to be up here, and you start trying to get to that level of feeling. And once you get there, it's there. It's already there. Everything you desire is already there. You just have to get there. And I know that gratitude is the fastest way. There's lots of ways. You're eventually going to get there. You will have everything you desire eventually. But if you want to get there, gratitude is the way to get there fastest. And so the exercise that I put everybody through is really just, it's just every day away. And it's different. Like I have one, I have one that if you go out and you get a crystal, and rose quartz is my favorite crystal, or you get a rock out of your yard, or you get something that you can hold in your hand. And at night, when you go to bed, and if you lay there at night before you fall asleep, and you just think back about your day of all the things you're grateful for, and then close your eyes and hold your crystal and think of the one thing you're most grateful for. And if you fall asleep like that, you're going to wake up in that feeling of gratitude. So gratitude is not just something that we do at Thanksgiving. Gratitude is every single day. And that's the secret. That really is the secret of bliss and happiness. And so that's just really what I take you through. The hardest thing, I think, is being grateful for the hard times, the contrast, the things that we don't want. And it sounds crazy. And when people say it, like, I'm grateful for, something that goes wrong. Well, the reason why you can be grateful for what goes wrong is in that contrast, in the thing that you don't want, you become so abundantly clear on what you do want. And you can be grateful for that, right? Even if you buy a new house and you're in your house and the closets are too small, don't have enough closet space. I don't like that I don't have enough closet space. You can say, I'm glad that I found out that I need more closet space. In my next house, I'm going to make sure I have more closet space. So it's an interesting way of looking at life. If you can truly be grateful for everything, the blessings and the contrast, because that's really how you're going to get everything you want in your life and how you're going to manifest your bliss. So, I mean, today it was really just, I wanted to share all of that because I'd really like for you to come along with me in these next 30 days and do this challenge. If you can commit to 30 days, and it is the holidays and everybody's busy, but it's a great time to get ready for 2021. I think 2021 is going to be an incredible year. We've had a lot of contrast this year, right? We've had a lot of things that we don't like and that we don't want. So that is incredible because especially around the whole world, right? The whole world doesn't like things that are going on. So when you find out what you don't want, you're very clear on what you do want. The world is clear on what it wants. It wants to be healthy. It wants to be free. We don't want restrictions. We want prosperity. I think 2021 is going to bring so much to our universe. It's going to be beautiful. So be ready for it, right? So start now and start that practice of every single day, waking up, being thankful for what you have and being thankful for what you desire as if you already have it. So I think what I want to do is kind of end this part of it, because I said we'd have a discussion, right, for the last 15 minutes, is I kind of want to share this prayer that I say about being thankful. And you can say it in the morning, you can say it at the night, but I think this will kind of capture what it's all about. And so basically it says, be thankful. Be thankful that you don't already have everything you desire. If you did, what would there be to look forward to? Be thankful when you don't know something, for it gives you the opportunity to learn. Be thankful for the difficult times. During those times, you grow. Be thankful for your limitations because they give you opportunities for improvement. Be thankful for each new challenge because it will build your strength and character. Be thankful for your mistakes. They will teach you valuable lessons. Be thankful when you're tired and weary because it means you've made a difference. It is easy to be thankful for the good things. A life of rich fulfillment comes to those who are also thankful for the setbacks. Gratitude can turn a negative into a positive. Find a way to be thankful for your troubles and they become your blessings. I mean, that really just says it all right there. So there's lots of ways to be thankful, and I share them in my 30 days. So please, I want to hear some comments. I want to hear some feedback. What are y'all thinking?
Yeah, thank you, Shelly. This was fabulous. And please write down your questions in the chat and we can read your questions. I just want to reiterate a couple things that you said, especially from the poem, is being grateful for some of the troubles or the hard times that we have. I love what you said, that it helps us see what we actually do want. When we're focusing on what we don't want, what we can take out of that is that there is something, obviously we want the opposite. So if we're struggling with money, okay, what do I want? I want more money. And then from that, what we appreciate grows in value, right? And that's why gratitude is so powerful, because what we appreciate in life grows in value. What we don't appreciate and we complain about decreases in value. So that is, again, why gratitude is so powerful, because we're appreciating it and we're looking at the positive, it obviously is going to grow. Be thankful before we have it. Start thanking what we want. So write down what do I want? And if you're struggling with what do I really want? What do I really want from my heart? Think about, okay, am I having some troubles in my life? And take that and go, okay, what's the opposite of that? What is the opposite? What do I really want out of this? And every day, I love what you said, visualize it, pick out the positives and feel it. Be thankful before we even have it. So with that, I am going to look at the chat to see if there are questions. No questions yet. Something else I want to challenge everybody to do is write down one thing that you want right now. one thing, you know, it's Christmas time, you know, what's a gift? If you could give yourself a gift, what gift would you give yourself? And focus on that for the next 30 days, with every day pulling out what you're grateful for.
Definitely. And just have fun with it. And sometimes people are afraid to ask for too much, right? I mean, if it's coming from your heart, then that's a desire that you have, and it's okay. And don't be afraid to dream big, you know, and want something that's frivolous. It's okay. I mean, that's what we're all here for. Like, what makes you happy? Like, what brings you bliss? And there are certain things that, you know, maybe that you need. There are certain things that you want. You know, there's different levels of different things that you want, but, you know, just, you're right, like writing them down and being grateful as if you've already achieved it is really where the magic is. And you write it, you know, write it in your journal every day, you know, 5 things that you're grateful for. And, you know, and again, in the thing, there's also the why behind you are grateful for it. So if you write down, you know, I'm thankful for, you know, this beautiful sunny day. Why are you thankful for that? I'm thankful for that because the sunshine gets me warm and I can be outside today. Um, the why behind it is really powerful too. If you understand why you're grateful for what you're grateful for, because that leads to the emotion, and the stronger the emotion, especially if it's positive or even if it's negative. I mean, when you write down, when you see what you're grateful for and you write why you're grateful for it, if it makes you smile, then you know you're onto something. You know, you know that that's the direction that you want to go to get more of that, right? Through the law of attraction. Whatever you're thinking of and however you're feeling, you're going to keep getting more evidence of that. So if you're grateful for it. So if there's something you don't feel good about it, if it's not positive, then take a look at that too. That's okay. It's okay not to feel like, that just doesn't feel right. I don't really believe it's going to happen. That's an opportunity to look deep there too. Like, why don't I believe that I am worthy of achieving this goal? You know, what is it that, you know, and take some time to really look deep at that. And then what can I be grateful for? You know, why do I think it's too much to have $2 million in my bank account? I don't really believe it can happen. Well, what's more realistic, you know? And just really, it's all about that personal growth, and gratitude just gives you the opportunity to get in touch with those feelings, get in touch with who you are, get in touch with what's important to you. And are you going in the right directions towards that? So it's the most life, it's the simplest thing to do, right? It's so simple. You can wake up in the morning, write down 5 things you're grateful for, why you're grateful for them, and then look at your list of things that you desire and be thankful for them as if you've already had them. And it just makes your heart sing. I mean, you cannot be sad and grateful at the same time. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have a story of like where they practice gratitude and it changed their life? I shared a lot of my stories.
Can you reshare? And I took a screenshot of it too, but can you share the quote about be aware of your thoughts?
Oh, yes.
And I took a screenshot too, so I will post that on our Facebook page. Yeah, that's powerful.
It really is. And I mean, this was, a lot of people give Gandhi credit for this quote, but this was actually way before Gandhi was even born. I mean, that it was written by a Chinese philosopher. And it's if you have that as if you keep that in your mind at all times, share that with your children, and, you know, and really believe it, then you'll watch your thoughts. You know, you won't let those negative thoughts get in there. And if they do, the gratitude can turn it around. I mean, it's okay. Our self-talk, we're the hardest on ourselves. I mean, by far. So if you recognize that self-talk of like, you know, oh, you can't get that, then stop for a second and say, well, hold on a second. There's no reason why I can't. I've got what I have and I'm grateful for what I have. So I'm just going to be grateful for being open to receiving more. And, just watch that. Just don't be hard on yourself. And that's why gratitude, if you're thankful for what you actually have and really be grateful, like really feel the gratitude, like really get passionate about it. That's what you need to do too. It just, and it can also be, you can use gratitude in a way to make you feel better by helping other people feel better. Say thank you to people. After we end this call today, I challenge you to pick up the phone and call somebody and actually tell them that you're grateful to them for something in your life. That will make their day. And you knowing that it made their day, made them feel good, it's going to help raise your vibration and help you feel good too. I mean, truly being grateful for the people in your lives. I mean, that's, again, we're here to manifest bliss, right? Our purpose is bliss and to be happy, but it's also interacting with other human beings. And boy, if you can do something to make them feel better about themselves, and gratitude is the way to do it. Be thankful to them and let people know that you are and how they've made a difference in your life. And that's two people now. So now you've bumped into somebody, and if they feel good and they like the way it felt for someone to be grateful to them, they may just go out and bump into somebody else and share their gratitude with them. And that's how we're going to make the world a better place.
Yeah. Real quickly, a couple things. Meredith says that gratitude carried her through when she had lost her mom, enabling her to support her family through the loss. And then we do have a question. What did your friend say to you in the hospital about what would happen in 2 weeks?
What did my friend,
What did your friend say to you in the hospital?
Chuck. Yes. Okay. The gifts that I would see from the accident. Okay. Well, if you have a minute. So one of the most upsetting things was knowing that the man had died, that even though it was his fault, I was participated in someone dying tragically. Right. So the first thing he said to me was, imagine that this man, and you had a spiritual connection. Like spiritually, you had this agreement together that you would assist him in his transition, and he would assist you on beginning your new life. And from that moment on, right, from that accident, caused me to have a new life, right? I had another opportunity to be alive and to get clear on what was important to me and to be grateful for being alive again, right? I mean, so the gifts came from, I also learned how to ask people for help, which was a lesson that I needed to learn. So that was a gift. Like I had to ask everybody for help, and it was so hard, like ridiculous. And now that I was able to ask people for help, I gave them the opportunity to give something back to me too, right? I mean, that gift was so powerful. The gift of appreciating people that are handicapped. I mean, that have wheelchairs and walkers. I mean, I'll never forget the day that I was starting to use a walker, and I had a doctor's appointment, and my doctor's office, the door going into the building, did not have a handicap, button that I could open. I had to try to, with a walker, had to try to open this door and get in. It was like, I now appreciate how it is, right? I'd never been in a walker or a wheelchair before. And the gifts added up. And now, I mean, I just saw Chuck last weekend, and we talk about it all the time. Like from that tragedy and him laughing at me because he knew that everything, even more than I did, every opportunity, everything that in your life, there are gifts in that to allow you to grow and to get closer to alignment and to what it really is to make you happy. So thank you for asking that question. Every day they show up too, because now too, like I run into people that I hadn't seen, and they're like, and I'm literally running now, right? I mean, I can do anything. They're like, oh my gosh, the last time I saw you, that's incredible. How did you recover? So the gifts go on and on. Thank you so much for asking that.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Well, if there's no other questions, I wanted to say thank you, Shelly. This was absolutely fabulous. And I love that you went into really getting in touch with yourself first before you go into gratitude, because if you're in alignment with who you are, the gratitude is going to come much more effortless and be true, be true to who you are. And this is recorded. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording now. If anybody would like to have the recording, please. I don't know how to stop the recording, but I can do that. I can do that later. I don't know what, I don't want to sit here and play. So thank you, Shelly. And then how can they get a hold of you?
Thank you. So I'm just going to suggest everybody go to my website, shellyaristizabal.com, type in the thing, I want to sign up for your whatever. And then you'll be in my email list and you'll get to learn when my podcasts are released. And today, I'll add you to the 30-day challenge and we'll get started today. And every day you'll just get an email from me for 30 days that says this is today's exercise and this is what we're going to do. And 30 days from now, which would be January 5th, we'll already have a jump start on 2021 on manifesting our bliss. And my one favor to ask everybody, if you could just go to my podcast, go to iTunes. If you go to iTunes and type in Manifest Your Bliss, I am very, very close to being like on the new and noteworthy podcast. And all I need are a few more subscribers and a few more reviews. You have to go way down here. But this is where all the 30 days are and everything we talked about. But you can write a review. And I know Judy and Cindy, you did. Thank you so much. But that's my one ask for this morning. I want to thank you so much for having me on here. And thank you for joining my challenge. We're going to have some fun over the next 30 days. And I hope you enjoy my podcast. And I can't wait for us to do a live retreat. I think all of you should come down to Naples.
I love that idea. That was something that you actually said on the airplane that you would like to do retreat. So yes, let's all go down to Naples or Asheville. I think you said you spent a month in Asheville.
Asheville. Definitely going to do one in Asheville.
So before we wrap up, if anybody has any questions you want to jump on, otherwise we'll go ahead and wrap up. But does anybody have any other questions? Looking in the chat.
Yeah, you can even unmute yourself and ask. I mean, you don't have to put it in the chat if you have something you want to say. It doesn't have to be a question. It could just be dialogue. It could just be a statement.
Yeah. What did you think of my presentation today? I love some feedback.
I loved it.
Oh, I thought it was excellent. Yeah, we're getting good comments too. But if you guys want to comment, and you can just unmute yourself and comment.
Oh, come on. I just shared my heart and soul with all of you. I need some feedback. I want to hear from real people.
Hi, I'm
Shelly,
Lauren.
I really appreciate. Oh, I'm just gonna stop.
No, you can go ahead. You started. Are you sorry? Okay. I'm Lauren. And I'm still in bed. So yay, here we are. Be real, right? Be you.
Yes. Yes.
I really enjoyed your share on your medical struggles. I have a terminal illness, and sometimes I'm just really, really grateful for that I put it in the chat, but that I can walk today, or that I woke up, or that I got to see my son laugh, or, not taking for granted the days I can walk, or the days I can, the moments I'm not in pain, and staying present, because that's when I can be really grateful. I get so caught up in can and can't do situations. And sometimes being present for me is not necessarily, I've learned over the years that it's not necessarily what I physically can and can't do. I got to laugh and watch a show with my son, or I got to play cards. It's not, or I could get so wrapped up in the physical. Hey, I can't run outside with him, but maybe it's not about that. Maybe it's about reading a silly story, or maybe it's about laughing at a stupid show or a joke. And my son will always say, he has autism, and he'll tell me, he'll go, "Mommy, I had the best day with you." And I said, "What did we do?" And he can't tell me. It was just that we were together.
Yeah.
And just being grateful for and reframing to me in my brain what it is to be, what that feeling is of how I am important. It's not necessarily what I do. Sometimes it's just being me. So I'm just really grateful for this. And that's all I got.
Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you. I wish you all the best. Okay, well, we got a bunch of quiet people on here today. That's all right. Maybe I talk too much. But anyway, I hope that you enjoy the holiday season. It's such a beautiful time of year, and it's a great time to be thankful for everything we have. And let's look forward to 2021 and getting together again. I hope that you'll have me back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, I'm going to thank you, Shelly. And yeah, we'll definitely be in touch. I'm going to do your core values assessment. I think that's great.
Yeah, everybody who just sign up there, then I'll send that to you right away. Then I'll put you into the challenge. So, okay.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to hand it over to, oh, go ahead. Somebody want to say something?
Sure.
Hi, my name is Olga. And I just want to let you know, Shelly, that I thought your presentation was very enlightening, and I will follow you.
Thank you, Olga. It's nice seeing you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, I'm going to hand it over to Judy to tell us a little bit about our upcoming events. We have 2 more events coming up for December. Judy, we lose her?
Hi, everybody. Okay, so thank you, Shelly. That was great. I took tons of notes, and yeah, I'm definitely going to do the 30-day challenge because I think it's going to be life-changing. I love gratitude. It sometimes I don't feel so grateful when I'm talking about gratitude or saying what I'm grateful for, and I really have to focus on that. I really have to sit with it. Otherwise, it becomes just a list. So to really focus and that changes things, because sometimes, I experience, there's days I have chronic pain. And so there's days that it's tough to be grateful, really tough and really challenging. But then even in that, I've come to grow with that to where I know it's pushing me to be patient, and it's pushing me to be in self-care with myself. So it's pushing me to do good things for myself. So it's taught me a lot. It's been one of my biggest lessons. And pain brought me to become my biggest cure with my thinking, believe it or not. All right. So anyways, a couple of upcoming events. There is next Friday, there is a medium coming on, and she's going to do holiday messages from our loved ones from beyond. So that's next Friday. Go on our website to find that. And then there's going to be holiday traditions, and that's December 20th. And that's just coming on and talking about our traditions, since now everything's on Zoom, and we're not really going to be following any traditions this year. So we want people to come and share and talk about that, and even if you're missing that, to just talk about it. So, get in your cozy pajamas, get some hot chocolate, be by a fire, and I'm going to show my little movie I made a while back, about Chicago department store Santa Clauses. So anyway, and then we have a ton of stuff in January and February, a lot of workshops. There's yoga, workshops for 6 weeks. There's men's meditation for 6 weeks. There's all kinds of great stuff, intuitive coaching, all kinds of great stuff. So just go on our website. That's in the chat. And the way we like to end each and every one of our sessions, and Debbie inspired us to do this, Debbie on the call, is to end with a poem. And so this one is a Native American poem written by Joy Harjo, and it's called Eagle Poem. To pray, you open your whole self to sky, to sun, to moon, to one whole voice that is you. And know there is more you can't see, can't hear, can't know, except in moments, steadily growing, and in languages that aren't always sound, but other circles of motion. Like eagle that Sunday morning over Salt River, it circled the blue sky and the wind, sweeping our hearts clean with sacred wings. We see you, see ourselves, and know that we must take the utmost care and kindness in all things. Breathe knowing we are made of all this, and breathe knowing we are truly blessed because we were born and die soon within the true circle of motion. Like the eagle rounding out the morning inside us, we pray it will be done in beauty, in beauty. And then I'm going to end with my favorite poet of all time, Rumi. And this is short and sweet. He says, your heart knows the way, run in that direction. And that's it.
Love it.
Thank you.